So, Lisa, can I ask you at first a question which is a little unfamiliar with non-duality,
Okay.
but I don't know. I would just be interested in your opinion in this. The theme is ghosts and spirits. What's your opinion about this?
Oh, well, I think that anything's possible, but apart from that, I don't have much of an opinion. I feel like I've seen some entities that aren't from this dimension before, but I don't have opinion on it.
Okay,
Um,
so it might exist, might not.
yeah, and it's
Okay.
not, it's all made of the same. Even if there is thousands of dimensions, which is very possible, it's all made of the same. It all comes down to the, in non-duality, it's about the point is that that sense, that essence of aliveness, that sense of being and the knowing is the freedom, no matter what's appearing. And so there could be many different worlds out there.
It's so amazing.
Yeah. And it could be that when these bodies die, there is a sense of these individual energies go into other bodies, or, you know, like die and go into a spirit land. But it's not
Yeah.
that that's higher than this reality. It's all still part of the dream.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And the freedom isn't in the destination or what levels of the dream you get to, which is normally
Mm.
what we think, that we've got to go to heaven or we've got to have these destinations. The freedom is in the place in which the dream comes from, which is always presence, which is the sense of amness, the beingness, the watching of it, no matter what's appearing, no
Yeah.
matter what
Yeah.
world we're in.
Yeah. But it seems like it is more freedom, when we are in a heavenly realm than in a hellish realm.
Yeah.
Speaking here on Earth, for example, there are two things,
Yeah, well,
absolute pleasure.
I think that the hellish realm comes from identification and the loss of, or the forgetting of who you truly are. That's the
Yeah.
only hell there is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's very natural that things are grown and then destroyed.
Yeah.
That's natural part of this dream, because it's all oneness. It always has to transform into itself. So because it's one
Yeah.
energy, it always has to go from one thing to another. So something grows, and then when it grows, it takes from another thing, and then when it dies, it gives to another thing. It's a natural flow of things. The hell is simply the identification with being someone.
Mm.
And in that identification, in Buddhism, they would say there's lots of different realms in that identification. So you've got like the hungry ghosts, and then you've got the excuse me, I have a terrible memory, so I have to remember all these. It was a long time ago I studied them. You've got the gods, and the gods are even in hell as well. They would be like
Uh-huh.
they're not in hell. There's actual hell in the Buddhist realms, but the gods are in hell because they're in like an altered reality. Like it's not as bad as some of the other hells, but they take everything for granted. They live in pride and arrogance. You see it in our society. It might be really successful people, or
Mm.
people that come from a lot of money or wealth. And you've got the hungry ghosts, which have, in Buddhism, they're represented as having these tiny throats, and
Yeah,
they're
I've
really
seen them
hungry and they
before.
can't get the food down them. And the animal realm they have in Buddhism, which I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
think as the animal realm. I think it's a metaphor, and I don't think it's the animal realm as in like Khaleesi. I think it means as in like humans that are totally identified with that, the sex, the eating, the animalistic side, the predator side, which again you can see in
Mm.
humans all the time. And forget the other realms. The ghost
Maybe
realm.
plants. I think it's plants or something. I don't know.
There's a
I'm not
ghost
sure
realm, I
either.
think, as well.
Yeah.
Or the hungry ghosts. But yeah. And it's all just metaphors, it's all just teachings, because I
Mm.
can see that. I can see different people, like people that are more identified with always wanting but never getting. You get the people that are in so much pride, they think they have everything and they think they're better than. And then you can
Mm.
see like the people that are just totally addicted to like sex and basic needs and food. And when I work with people one-on-one, I can often see these patterns in people as well.
Mm. Can you see some kind of pattern in me, in my behavior, or would we have to talk more?
Um, I don't actually see it intellectually, I feel it. So you just have to give me a second.
Yeah.
When I take time, actually, people always think I'm thinking, but I'm not thinking, I'm feeling. Yeah, I think I'd have to spend more time with you.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know
I
it
will.
anyway.
Huh?
I'm sure you know it anyway. Like, we all know it,
Yeah,
but we're
yeah,
always
yeah,
like
yeah.
afraid of admitting that.
To some degree, yes. Not all the things, but like I've studied the Enneagram a bit, and I'm a type 5, which is always going into the head and trying to push away being in the body and
Yeah.
being in the feelings just to go into the head,
Yeah,
But I'm trying to work on that. And I'm also listening to Non-duality.
yeah, yeah. And
And
you can also do things
yeah.
like Vipassana meditations, which is focusing on the body, like putting the tension. I used to love
Yeah, I've done
Vipassana.
this before, but I didn't. I've done it before, but I didn't like it that much.
Yeah, but that's more than
Just
likely
like,
because you're a heady person.
yeah, it was extreme. Yeah,
Your mind is like.
I enjoyed more being. Yeah, yeah.
What didn't you
I
like
think
about it?
what I didn't like about it, it was a hard time for me anyway, and what was the hardest part was that I couldn't speak to the people, it was always circling around in the system,
Yeah,
all these things, and I couldn't get it completely out of the system only with putting attention on it. I always had the willingness to
sorry,
uh,
just cut
I
out.
always had the willingness to speak everything out while I was in Vipassana,
All
to
right.
speak. I couldn't because all the feelings were circling around and I couldn't get them out of my system.
Yeah,
So I like a little more active stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe I wasn't prepared enough. Maybe my body wasn't prepared enough. I don't know.
So now, if you just shut your eyes, and just move your attention in your body, and just forget everything you've learned, and just move it down through your body. You can even do it with breathing. What do you feel?
It feels spacious.
Nice. You see, you are. The freedom is that
But
you
it
are.
also feels
That right now.
there are also coming feelings.
I think.
There are also coming feelings of guilt a little.
Yeah. So just breathe, like follow your energy going in through your nose and down through the body, and just allow that guilt to be there. But at the same time, notice that there's this essence of aliveness. There's this sense of pure being that's always been there. That this is. And you can't. It's beyond thinking. You can't think your way to this. Even my words are disappearing in this. They mean nothing. They're like a bird song. Your mind is always interpreting and living in the interpretation, and so therefore there's lots of fear and lack arising. This is. Here it is.
But it's so subtle and so recognizable, so that it is always overlooked.
Yeah.
I can see what you're talking about, but I constantly oversee it, because it's so subtle,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so quiet.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't feel it as being intensely alive, which some people talk about. I just feel it as being really quiet.
Yeah. That's because the person is busy there trying to take attention into the intellect and up to the brain area. And that it's all instantly known. But don't try and ignore anything by saying this is or this. Like, just let it come in if the guilt comes.
Mm.
And you know, when you're by yourself, you can speak out that guilt. You can play with that guilt a bit, see what you actually feel guilty about.
Mm.
And then at the same time, you are.
Mm.
This is so radically alive. And it doesn't make sense. It's absolutely crazy. It doesn't make the sense I'm speaking, but yet there's nobody listening, but that's the way it is. It doesn't make sense that impulses come and they feel like your choices, but when I say where do they come from, there's an absolute vast eternity that cannot be looked at. It just appears from that. And that breathing's happening, so the air is going in through your nose and down through your body. And the idea that it's in a body and that it's happening to you is simply an idea. Actually, it's just sensation, and it's so intimate and beautiful. And it's so strange as well.
Yeah. It's really unknowable.
Yeah. Right here, everything's unknowable. And this is what the freedom is having it's that movement from believing that you are this separate entity to this boundless aliveness that's totally innocent. But what's happening in the humans is that there's a movement to that, and they're not just staying like a dog and being stupid. They still have the ability for intellectual thinking, but they're not identified with the intellectual thinking. They don't believe that that is them anymore, or there's not an energy saying this is me.
But it seems to be a movement which takes apparently place in time.
Seems to, yeah. But then when we come back and you just breathe, that's the whole universe. And time is only an image that appears in this universe. That's right here, right now. Time appears as an image. But it seems to take time. And it's okay, you don't need to hurry this. It's going exactly the right place, pace, it's happening exactly the right time. Everything is in line because you're not the producer, you're not the doer. The you and everything you think and feel is appearing from a boundless energy that's so intelligent, it's beyond anything we can think about. And that's who you truly are. That's the experiencer now. That's what knows the feelings and the sensations. And just allow them in as they become uncomfortable.
There's a contraction in the belly, a big one.
Yeah. So you can just move your attention down to that contraction. Whereabouts in the belly is it?
Around the navel.
Yeah.
A little bit above the navel.
So just totally allow that to be. There is contraction. And even though I'm saying to you, let it be, there's actually no one that can. But it's like saying to Siri, can you pull up a website? It does it.
Right.
But really, that's not you.
Yeah.
You aren't acting, you aren't doing. There is nobody that does. There's thoughts and ideas and images and impulses that arise spontaneously, and they don't equal someone independent. And I can say, put your attention on your belly, and the attention can move, but that doesn't imply separation.
Absolutely.
And do you have a feeling that's coming with that contraction?
Something that life is against me. But it's only very subtle.
Yeah. And that's totally not true. Life has always been supporting you. It's always been right here. It's just your mind lives in opposites, so it believes that it's being supported or not being supported. But as the person, you have to feel that and explore that you're not supported.
Mm.
And it will more than likely go back to a human relationship where you felt like that. There'll be an element of...
What have you said? I didn't understand anything.
It will more than
Sorry.
likely, that feeling will go back to a human relationship. You'll be able to also associate it with a human relationship.
Yeah.
This will be something that occurs in other times. So life is against you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it comes from childhood or something, from suppressing parents or something.
Yeah. And many generations, most probably, it's a genetic thing, not passed on from your grandparents, your parents. And you get the joy of feeling it for them all.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the film The Giver?
No.
There's a beautiful part in it where he remembers the whole of his society's memories and the agony of it. Like the society had wiped out their memories, and they gave it to one person to have the responsibility to remember humanity's memories, and he was the person that was picked to remember.
Wow.
It's such a beautiful film, The Giver it's called.
Okay, I'll write it down. And Lisa, one more question.
Sure.
When there's lack,
Yeah.
usually lack isn't recognized as lack.
No.
And no, it's not because we are in our heads. But how would you say that we can recognize the lack?
Well, you have to start at where you're at. So if your mind is obsessing about getting something, just start with that, and you can use lots of different questions to just see if there's anything deeper than that. So if you're obsessing about getting something, you most probably can follow it back to lack, that you feel not enough and that you feel like you have to have this thing to be enough. But just start with the surface. So if you're saying to yourself, I need to meditate every day or something in order to be free, and you keep not meditating every day and you keep beating yourself up, you can keep turning it around till you begin to go deeper with it. So ask yourself questions. Is it true that I won't be complete with this? Like what? And feel the feelings in your body. What's underneath that? Do I really need this? Do I really want this? And what's the image of what you want? And what does it make you feel when you get the image of what you want? If you imagine that you meditated all the time and you're a supreme meditator and you're the most enlightened, like what is the feeling that you want from it? You'll begin to see it's love.
Right.
Just
comes always down to love, I think.
Yeah.
And worthiness.
Yeah. And you can always imagine in the positive, if I get this thing, what will it make me feel?
Mm. And what then? When I know how it would make me feel?
It will just begin to change, because you'll begin to acknowledge that these things actually, if you know that what you're looking for is love, you'll begin to acknowledge that love is actually in you. Because in order to imagine an image out there that could potentially complete you, you must know completion already. So therefore you must be completion already. But this isn't something I can teach you. You have to explore this for yourself. So that there must be a sense of what completion is in order to imagine an object that will complete you. Because this is what the mind does. It divides and it says, I am something. And as soon as it says I am something, it's in a comparison, so therefore there is something it isn't. And then what it does is it says I am this, and then it longs for what it isn't. But none of that's true. This is just our thinking. This is just humanity's thinking, and you've identified with certain ideas, and then you look for other things in the flow in order to make you feel that completion again, but that completion is your nature. It's here all the time. To think, for you to think that it's in another object, you must already experience that completion. You must already be able to taste it.
But there's a feeling that it is not here completely.
Yeah, that's because the division's happened. You've associated with particular things. I am this, I am not that. I am good, I am bad, I am guilty, not guilty.
Why can't we simply take a pill and become enlightened or something? That would be nice.
But this type of thinking is hopeless thinking. It's like you've got to get into the mentality of this is always the gift to explore, and screw the next moment and getting enlightened. This is always the opportunity for exploration, and that's all that needs to happen is exploration.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we didn't explore, that we got lost in an illusion as humans. We got told what things were and then we believed it. And then we believed a lie. And then the lie became so strong we could only see the lie.
Because everyone else is thinking the lie, we think it must be true.
Yeah.
It must be true.
And everyone's supporting it.
Next Friday I will do a private session with you. I've booked one.
Oh yeah? Nice.
Yeah. And maybe we can explore a little bit the themes, the problems I have with religion,
Yeah.
Christianity, which are ingrained in my head and in my system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about this a little bit.
Yeah. And guilt as well. The guilt that you feel.
Absolutely. Guilt and shame. Yeah.
You see, you feel those feelings and then you look in the flow to complete them, so then enlightenment becomes the completion of them. But you can't complete them by getting them from outside. You can't complete them from another idea. You have to see what's beyond them. But that's something we can explore when we're in one-to-one.
Okay, yeah. So I have to catch now my father from the train station.
Okay.
He's coming from Czech, from
Oh, nice.
Czech Republic.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
will catch him from there.
All right, nice to speak with you,
bye.
Kevin. Thanks.
See you on Friday, Lisa.
See you. Bye.